Hey everybody, it's Daryl with DMD Realty. So every once in a while I like to talk about things that you may not be aware of. There's some special programs out there for first-time home buyers, and these are some of these are unique, some aren't. Now here's some you may not be aware of. Now first of all, let's talk about who is a first-time home buyer. Does that mean you've never owned a home? No, it does not. What it means is that you have not owned a home or been on title on a property in the prior 3 years to purchasing a new home. So just keep that in mind. So what I want to start off with first is called the Good Neighbor Next Door, and this is a special program by HUD, Housing and Urban Development. That's the folks who are behind fair housing, all that good stuff, FHA. But the Good Neighbor Next Door is for loan enforcement officers, teachers that are pre-K through 12th grade, firefighters, emergency medical techs, or technicians. So those are some. And the whole purpose of it is to help bring about revitalization in some communities. So these homes are, if you fit in one of those categories, and I know someone that was husband was a firefighter, wife was a teacher. They bought a home, and you buy it at a 50% discount. Now it may not be in an area that you want to live in, but it's an option. And the great part about it is you get it at 50% off what HUD has it listed at. So typically they're foreclosure, so they're going to need some work. But it's a good way to get in, have some instant equity. Now you do have to live in the home for 3 years minimum. There's what's called the soft second for the other 50%. So if you sell before that 3 years is up, so you don't want to do anything until 3 years in a day. But what a great way if you're just starting out and you're one of those categories that I just talked about. What a great way to buy a house, build some equity, move up, go on to the neighborhood you really want to be in, and also help bring another neighborhood up to new heights, help the people in the neighborhood. So there, to find one, to find a good neighbor next door, you do have to work with a HUD approved broker, which I happen to be. So that's why I'm talking about this today. Not to get you to work with me, but just so you know, that's where you have to go. So I did mention that you do have you're going to have to sign a document for that silent second. So, and once again, 3 years and a day, that silent second goes away. You can sell it. You've got 50% equity, and in this market, if it keeps moving up, who knows what the house will be worth. What a great way to start, though. Now here's another one. This is one I'd forgotten about. It's HUD's Dollar Homes. Now in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, probably not going to find anything that fits this because a lot is more than $25,000. But basically, homes that are $25,000 or less, HUD sells for $1. Probably not something that I'm going to be able to help you find because there's honestly nothing around DFW like that. But that's one program I wanted to talk about. If you have questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me because if you're a law enforcement officer, a teacher in pre-K through 12, you're a firefighter or you're emergency medical tech, sorry, an EMT. That's what I should say. It's just easier. If you're an EMT, if you fit one of those professions and you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out to me on help you see if there's anything around the area that may work. And also, just so you know, there are down payment programs available. Don't talk about them much because there's strict requirements on them. Usually you have to have a minimum credit score of 640. A lot of lenders have quit doing them for a while. And there are some cities with some bond programs of their own. So, and when you do choose to work with one of the city programs, you have to work with a lender that is approved for their particular program. And here's a list of the cities that had their own particular down payment assistance program: Arlington, Dallas, Denison, Denton, Fort Worth, Frisco, which I found surprising, Garland, Prairie, IRving, Lewisville, Mckinney, Mesquite, and Sherman. Now, of course, there's going to be income requirements on those, maximum income that will apply. So that's something, probably if you're making $150,000 a year, not going to work. I forget what the limits are. It's going to be based on what's called the MSA income. So if your household income's around 100 or less, it may work. But again, have to connect with one of the lenders that shot in with those programs. But that, usually what they do is they have a specific amount. Like I know Garland, they have $10,000 for closing cost and down payment assistance. That's what most of these are. And then there's also the state programs, which are TSHAC and SETH. And these work typically in all the areas. Now SETH, I don't think, or TSHAC wanted to, for some reason, they won't work in Mckinney or Prairie from one article. I'm not a lender anymore. But if that's something you're looking at, I can connect you with a lender that does. But what you need to know about the state down payment assistance programs, can't remember on the city ones, but the state, you're going to pay a higher interest rate. Your mortgage insurance is going to cost you a lot more. So I always suggest, even if you're looking at the city programs, if you can come up with the down payment, and if you're using FHA, it can be a gift from a family member. I think even some conventional, but again, I'll defer to one of the lenders I work with. And then work with the agent you're working with, write an offer, asking for closing cost. If you have some closing cost money available, it's great. You're going to need money for escrows, for taxes, insurance, things like that. But if you can save some money yourself, it'll be a lot better for you long term, because you'll get a better rate, typically better mortgage insurance, because you do have mortgage insurance on FHA. Conventional is a little less, and also goes away with FHA. It stays for a lifetime. But again, I'll defer to a lender to go through all that with you. I'd just like to give you basic advice. And now here's one that applies to some high income earners. There's actually one program I know of. I won't mention the bank by name, but the income limits, I believe, are $124,600. Now it's in targeted areas. They'll pay up to $10,000 in down payment assistance and $7,500 in closing cost. And I do have contact information. It's private banking side of a very large bank. I'll just leave it at that. And now here's something for people in medical professions like residents, fellows, new in practice physicians. And there's some banks that have even added in dentists, podiatrist, optometrist, and vets, veterinarian specifically. So I can connect you with some of those as well. I hope this